Money secrets exposed, what they do not want you to know about the modern economy. Don't you know, when you borrow 500,000 from banks need someone to deposit 500,000 for them to lend you this amount. And this is how things work when the world used gold as a store of value. Banks would only be able to lend out what they had. It would either be from the bank's own money or the banks take my 500,000 sitting idling in my account and give it to you after checking your credit worthiness. Voila! You now have that money to pay the property developer to buy your dream house. Banks would then share the profits with me by lending out my money to you. And that's why banks charge 3% interest on this 500,000 from the borrower, take a 1% cut or commission and give the balance of 2% to me in the form of cash or fixed deposit interest. These days, this is not valid anymore. You probably never even held a gold coin, let alone use it to buy anything. We have evolved from using gold as a medium of exchange and store of value to pieces of paper. And now in the age of e-wallets and blockchain, most of our transactions happen with digits on your mobile devices. Banks cannot do this endlessly though. They still have to have some genuine cash to back up this imaginary money. Still, most of the money today is not physically printed out. Money is just typed into existence in the form of credit. So now comes the question: can politicians or lawmakers make fiscal and monetary policies to make the banks create more money then? The answer is yes, but not without boundaries. You see, when you are playing an online computer game like the World of Warcraft or even Diablo Immortal, these games have some currency. It is effectively the same as the cash that we know in our everyday lives now. The game developers effectively have the power to log into the back end of the game server and type whatever figures they want into the server memory relating to your wallet. They are limited by only how long they press the 0 buttons on their keyboard. Now this sounds simple enough, but precisely the same thing is effectively valid for real cash. If so, then money is worthless if it can just be created out of thin air. You may think currency doesn't have any value, but suppose you were stuck on a desert island with a briefcase full of $10 million cash. This money would be entirely worthless to you. True indeed, but if you have a $10,000 gaming PC or a Rolex or a Ferrari, that would also be pretty much equally useless to you all the same, but it does not mean that they are worthless. What would you be desperate for on that desert island? You guess it, nothing fancy, but having water, food and shelter. That would be luxury. But living right in the middle of Kuala Lumpur, would water, food and shelter deemed as luxury items? So you see, just because something is not universally useful in every situation does not mean that it does not have value. So it's rubbish to say that money or cash is worthless today. Of course, money does have utility value because it facilitates the trade nationwide and globally. It can be used as a store of wealth even if there are probably better options available. And most importantly, it's the only way you can pay your taxes. You come to realize this modus operandi. In any form of economic slowdown, many governments worldwide have quickly announced huge stimulus packages that run into the hundreds of billions or even trillions of dollars, which has involved the governments taking on lots and lots of debt. Debt, as you and I know it, is probably pretty bad. If you're in debt and you do not have a good income to pay off the debt, this can start to impact your quality of life. You may have to give up things like going out with friends or going on to that holiday. All of this because you are a currency user. You work a job or run a business to earn the money, and then you spend that money on goods or services to maintain your quality of life. Money becomes a means to an end as it passes in and out of your your bank account. Some governments like US are a little bit different. They are the source of this money. They are not a money user. They are the money creator. If they want to build a new school or a road, they call up the central bank, the Fed, and tell them, hey, we need money. And the Fed will fire up the money printers and boom, there you go. Cash appear out of thin air for the government. Now, mind you, this is an actual currency, not credits like banks can create. With this almost unlimited ability to conjure money into existence, there is no reason that the government could not pay to an extent. Things like US debt ceilings and public opinion that government debt is bad make the government cannot go all out to print money. And that is why governments can't fully flex the power of their currency to bring maximum potential prosperity to the economy. Still, modern monetary theory dictates that if policymakers truly understand their ability to throw cash at any financial problems they encounter, they would be able to create a far more prosperous economy. Sounds pretty great, right? Not so fast, cowboy. First, if governments do go crazy and print all the money they want, the supply of that money will increase massively, and hence the actual value of the money will decrease. It will very quickly get to the point where the feedback loop of printing money to keep up with inflation will cause more inflation, and your money does become worthless, just like in Venezuela or Turkey. Second, your next question is, if governments like the US can print money, then why do they need to issue government bonds, to take on debts or even pay interest on their debt? You see, all the extra money must be created with some underlying debt, partly because of the relationship between the government and its central bank. In reality, controlling the supply of money circulating in the economy and by extension inflation is the primary role of a central bank. Imagine that an economy is a dam. The water in the dam is the cash in the economy. Things like government spending fill up this dam, and taxation releases the money out of the economic dam. The role of a central bank is to make sure that the dam does not overflow with cash, causing hyperinflation, and that it does not entirely run dry of currency. Still, it does not deviate from the main objective that any government wants to create demand for its own currency locally and abroad. If you can earn even a 1% interest by holding on to, let's say, a ringgit or US dollar, it becomes an attractive asset to keep on hand. Further, if you need to pay 4% interest on your home loan, you need real money to pay that back. And this further increases the near natural demand for government issued currency. Third, your next logical question. If countries can create something from nothing, why would anybody want to save money? Why not just spend it all today if it is worth less tomorrow? Now here is why. You need to pay taxes on your income. You cannot pay taxes in shares, in bitcoins, in chickens. Agree? If you do not want to go to prison, you need to get yourself some money. And this creates demand for money, whether in ringgit or USD. This is why governments tax people. The government does not need your money to fund its schools or roads or military or any public welfare. If anything, it is the other way around. The government conjures this money into existence to give us the currency we then need to earn to pay our taxes back to them. Remember, they are the source or the creator of this currency or money. So now you can see the way the government uses money is very different from how we use money or cash in our daily lives, like buying houses, cars, or even your avocado toast. Will you ever personally get a chance to act on the principles of modern monetary theory? Likely not, unless you want to become a world leader of a country or a central bank board member. But it's still important to know that so you can be a good citizen who understands that money does have value and you have no right to complain about your right as a taxpayer. Karen. More videos like this updated weekly only for our YouTube members, which I want you to check out next.